Hematoma. That's what you want, right?
If you're hearing our voices, that means it's time for It's This Meets That, the podcast where we watch the worst movies from trailer and credit scene by scene, so you don't have to, but maybe you should. I'm Russ.
I'm Jared.
I'm no doctor, but I don't know if that's right or not.
It's not. It's
you
not
don't want that. Yeah, you don't want that.
I can assure you. Yeah.
Sounds sounds very aggressive.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so we're back. We're back with part 2 of our full breakdown of Your Place or Mine, 2023 Ashton Kutcher, Reese Witherspoon movie about romance and comedy in New York and LA.
Yeah, it's light on comedy, light on romance.
Yeah,
It's light.
Yeah, it's light. Celery light.
Oh, speaking of light.
Yeah.
Before we get into things.
Yeah. Hit me.
Have you tried that Bud Light Zero Carb?
No.
It's horrible.
I
was like, oh, like I'll get this for my buddy that has diabetes. And like, well, like this would be a nice beer we could drink. Mm-hmm. It's like the worst thing I've ever drank.
Yeah, I mean, it has nothing in it. It's just
it's actually beer flavored seltzer.
Yeah, just call it that.
Yep. Which if you called it that, maybe I'd be more like. Once I realized it was that, I was like, okay, I
call it what it is. Yeah.
Yeah, call a spade a spade.
Right. Right.
Anyway, sponsored by Bud Light.
Sponsored by Corona. Put a lime in it, and you got a good tasting beer. Mm-hmm. Okay, good to know. Good safety tip. I'm not really looking for zero carb beers, but yeah.
I mean, you could drink way more of them.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I do pretty well with the carbed ones too. So
I'm saying for your health.
Oh, yeah. I mean, come on. Who cares about that?
Great.
All right. So we're back here with part 2. We got a lot of open questions, but I think they're all going to be pretty straightforward answered. So we all know what's going to happen. But join us on this journey as we get through this. So we left off with Debbie getting Theo Martin's phone number over there in New York City. And that's how we left it. And now we're back at the New York City apartment in Peter's place.
Yep. Nick is like, it's cute how you like book people. It's like a great point that even book people, I don't think would recognize Theo Martin.
No.
Like, oh, Russ, like you're a book person, presumably.
Yeah, a little bit.
As a person who's written one, host, go buy it at your local bookstore. Or probably not because it's not there, but Amazon or something.
Yeah, go there. Your local online website.
Your local online Amazon.
Your local online bookstore.
Yep. But like, you don't know people in the publishing industry. Like, you're not going to go up to me and be like, oh yeah, like,
no,
oh, that's Theo, see that guy over there? That's Theo Martin.
Yeah, that's it. No.
Ridiculous.
It's ridiculous. That's ridiculous that would be the thing. But it's just to show how much she's into books and editing and all that stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
She needs to chase her dream, right?
Yeah.
Not become an accountant.
Speaking of books,
Minka's like, yo, did you know Peter wrote a novel?
Do you know there's a book in the oven?
Literally, it's cooking. It's in the oven. I hate that. Books in the oven just needs to be cooked.
This is when I was thinking, I was like, oh, this will come back later. Maybe this is a foreshadowed about like the book gets burned up in the oven. That would be funny.
No, that would be. And then, they didn't do that. She's surprised, and she's like, oh, he didn't tell me this. And Minka's like, well, maybe he doesn't tell you everything. Yikes. Obviously, that's not happening. So, yeah.
She's like, I don't want to read it. Like, I shouldn't, right? Or should I?
Yeah, this is like this will be the first of 2 times where there's some discovery and she's like, I shouldn't do this thing. But then like 2 scenes later, she's doing the thing. And then again, with like, when she finds the envelope underneath his dresser, which by the way, what a weird spot to keep your shoebox of photos of like,
a gross invasion of privacy.
Yeah. And then she's like, I shouldn't look at this. And then like a couple scenes later, she's like going through all this stuff. It's like, all right, can you just settle down? So we're in LA. We're driving home from the Kings game.
Minor setback.
Jack is sad. And Peter's trying to apologize, and like Jack's like, yeah, thanks for nothing, man. Really. But
Yep. He's like, my skills, I guess, are a little more business oriented than little boy oriented.
That's one way to put that.
I put it that way specifically.
Yes, thank you. Thanks for making everyone feel uncomfortable. All right, and then we're back in New York, and Debbie's kind of getting ready to read the manuscript. Like she's sitting there, kind of like, right?
Yeah. She's like playing with the book.
Yeah.
And we cut back to see Peter flossing. Like, listeners, there is a scene of flossing
Oh my
in
God.
this movie.
Yes.
I hated every moment.
And this
I'm
is
sorry.
then we cut to the bath split screen tub thing, right?
Yep. They're calling each other. They're both like, "Are you in the tub? I'm in the tub." And Peter's like, "I don't take baths."
Is this still the same night, like after the hockey game?
I think so. Yeah.
You know how late it is in New York then at that point? Because the game would have started at 7:10, so 10, 11. It was like 12, 1 o'clock in the morning for where she is.
Yeah, not too bad. I mean, a city that never sleeps.
I mean, that's true, right? New York. So yeah, and then he's like, they're like, did we tell each other everything? And Peter's like, no, I haven't. And he goes on about the Kings game, the pizza, and everything else. And
the boy ate pizza.
Yeah.
We're not going to eat your gross casseroles, Debbie, which was the first time I laughed in this movie.
Yes. That's the first.
I don't know why. I thought that was so funny.
Yeah. And
she's like fishing for the book stuff. She's like, oh, you don't have any special projects that you're keeping from me? Right?
Mm-hmm.
Totally.
Right.
Total honesty always. Right.
Yep.
Right.
Are you sure?
No.
No. So, and this is right about the halfway point. And then we cut to a montage. We got a New York apartment reading montage where she's reading the book.
And reading it.
And reading it.
And reading it while getting ready in the morning the next day. And then reading it in class. Reading it in the courtyard outside of class. But thankfully it's over now.
Yes. And she's crying. She got little tears and she's completely moved by it. It's the greatest thing she's ever read since Moby Dick. You know,
sliced bread. Yep. I'd rather watch Kissing Booth again for the montages. They're better.
Yes. So then we cut to we're out for fancy drinks again. Same place, the Brownstone here. Minka and Debbie, they're out for drinks.
We're like around halfway through the movie at this point. Thankfully.
Yeah. And Debbie reached out to Theo and he shows up and she wants to give him Peter's manuscript.
Which another gross invasion of privacy.
This is also not how this works. You can't just be, which he explains. He's like, yeah, you can't just be giving me books. Like it's unsolicited. You can't be doing that. So either come from an agent or an editor. And Minka's immediately like, oh, Debbie's the editor, book editor.
Yeah. She also then she goes out and briefly explains the book, and it's about a boy becoming allergic to himself, which is why she was crying, because she has a 13-year-old son who's allergic to himself, more or less.
Yeah. And he's like, wait, you've got a 13-year-old son?
Yeah.
So do I.
So does me.
So does me. My son's name is Max.
Jack.
Max and Jack could hang out with the most.
You're divorced?
I'm divorced. He's just waiting for her to say something. He's like, wait a second.
Same.
You like guacamole? Me too. We have so much in common. Yeah. And then she's going on pressing about the book, and she's like, yes, I'm the editor of the book, and it's worth your time. And he's like, yeah, all right, I'll check it out. So
yeah. And then they do this a few times that you're supposed to think it's something meaningful. It's not.
Yeah.
But how she apparently is going to say goodbye to him several times is you are, what you are.
Yeah. He's like, I'd like to think I do, but it's also like, what is,
okay. It's infuriating.
All right. So we're back LA car ride, because that's what you do in LA. You just drive everywhere. So
traffic. Ugh.
And funny enough to be in a car in traffic, listening to The Cars.
The Cars.
Yeah. It's all coming together.
Yes,
and he goes,
what I needed.
Just, God damn it. And then he goes on about the band and his father and how he couldn't listen to The Cars because tragedy. And then he was like, oh, and then I listened to it. Yeah.
He's like, I know your life sucks too, kiddo, but at least you have good parents. And I was going to be the great American novelist. And now I'm a lonely old piece of shit, dude. Just stinks. I'm poo-poo. Yeah. And the boy's like, all right, we don't need any more branding, marketing tricks. We got to do something else here. And he's like, you know what you got to do? You got to play hockey.
Get in there. Try for the hockey team. Let's go. Yep. Let's go.
Classic Adam Sandler situation.
That's right.
And he's not going to tell mom. Well, he's like, I'll tell mom when she gets back.
Yeah. Well,
and then
that's going to blow up in your face probably.
And Jack hugs him.
The father I always wish I had.
Yep. And some more nicknames for the boy. And then Tig appears with more coffee, and she's like, "So how's it going?" It's like, pretty good. I think I'm crushing it.
Yeah.
Pretty exhausted, but like, overall.
It's this male role model thing is tough. And she's like, yeah, I think you just have to keep him alive. It's like,
you're supposed to be doing the bare minimum.
Yes.
Feed him casserole.
Yes. Keep him alive. That's it. That's all you gotta do.
Yeah.
All right, so we're back in New York. We're in the class, street, whatever. And she gets a call while she's in class, and it's Minka.
Rude.
And she's just like, says that Theo asked her to come to Dunkin' Donuts press.
Yep.
And so yeah, they go. They cut over to the Dunkin' press here, whatever the frick it's called. And
yep.
Yeah,
she arrives and she's like, "I'm here for Theo," which is not how any of this works, but
hey, and he comes out and she's like, "Yeah, I think the book has some potential." So good sign.
I may have shed a tear myself. Which you're like, I guess that's a sign of a good book.
May have. Yeah, it's like, wow, you read it that quickly? He's like, well, my assistant did.
Yeah. Yeah.
Classic.
And he's like, I'm really interested. Got to speak to the author. And she's like, oh, the author? I get a tinkle.
She kind of freaks out and she's like, goes out to the hallway.
Most of the tinkling happens right down the hall. So
yeah, Mika's got a kind of throwaway chuckle line here. She's like, this place is so old, like I can smell dead people. Is that what she said?
Yeah. I
was like, yeah,
something like that.
Yeah, it was kind of okay. And then I should tell Peter, but she's like, you know what? I'm not going to tell him. I'm just going to do this thing. And Theo's like, cool. You want to do dinner?
Let's talk next steps over dinner. How's that?
Boom. That's how you do that.
Yep.
So yeah, so they're basically at this point getting into each other's lives and stirring stuff up, but she's doing it more so in his life than he really is. He just told her kid to go try for the hockey team. That's not.
Yeah, that's nothing to write home about.
Somewhere in LA, we're about to play hockey, and Peter gets
the hockey pitch.
Yeah,
right?
he pitched hockey pitch. Yes, the pitch. And Peter gets Jack a spot with the team. Basically, just talks to the coach and is like, "Hey, man, here's a Finsky. Can you just let this kid try out?"
Yeah,
so he can.
The boy is good. Trust me,
he's good. Don't you worry. I also love how all the hockey scenes. I love how all the hockey scenes with him. The kid's got the only red helmet, so it's him.
Easy to see.
Easy to see. It's like, God damn it.
Yeah.
And we're back in New York. Peter's not answering, and Minka's got her clothes.
She
or
shows
something.
up with outfits.
Yeah.
Time for a makeover.
Number of times Jared's come over with outfits for me it's been a lot.
I had a nickel.
How about this t-shirt, buddy? How about this t-shirt? How about this t-shirt?
This one says Coca-Cola.
Thanks, buddy. This one says nothing.
Your favorite.
Oh my God. So then we cut back to the LA home. Yeah. So the rest of this movie, this is going to be it gets more jarring with this cutting back and forth, and it happens a bit quicker.
Yeah.
So we're back in LA.
Yeah. And Jack's like, wow, I did a good job at hockey, huh? And Peter's like, yeah, Jack Frost. Maybe that one might be the nickname that sticks because you're good at hockey.
Yeah.
And Frost is cold like hockey.
So then,
and then
yeah,
Zen is in a good mood when he gets back, and he's like, "Wow,
by the way, Peter and Zen have a handshake already. Like, another great day, and like there you got like a little
so stupid.
Yeah, okay,
I hate it. But they have a beer together, and they start talking.
Yep.
Right. Peter's apologizing for being a jerk. He's like, I'm just stressed about taking care of the kid, and Zen's like, yeah, plants are stressful too.
Yeah.
And he's like, okay.
I love the line, take a break. I don't need a break. I don't work here. It's like, all right. That was chuckle worthy.
Yeah. So they talk about how awesome Debbie is. And Zen explains, I'm her neighbor and part-time lover. Because in case you didn't notice, she is hot.
Because I know you guys are just our friends, so you don't look at her that way.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, he's like, yeah, friends with Benny's. So
yep,
friends with Zennies.
She's like, I got my strategy. I'll just keep showing up, and then maybe one day she'll decide that she wants to be in a relationship with me. I mean, Peter's like, I don't think that's how anything works. But
then it upsets Peter a little bit, and he's like, oh man. The Zen, going into the Zen den. So then we're back in New York. We're having dinner, and this is shot from a trailer. Her in a fancy dress, walking through the city, or walking to the restaurant. And then basically this whole dinner is just them nerding out about Peter's story and them nerding about just books and authors and quotes. And they go for a walk. They're having a nice time. But was there anything else important that comes out of that other than like them hooking up?
Talk about like how, his life or whatever is like just a little bit late for a proposal. Like they're talking about a book, I think. And then maybe that's a foreshadowed of like just a little bit late on that lovers getting together situation.
Yeah.
Guess we'll see how that pans out for our heroes. But otherwise, no, they're like, she mistakes the Brooklyn Bridge, for, the Manhattan Bridge for the Brooklyn Bridge. And then they just head back to Peter's where this is the part, right? Where we go upstairs.
He's like, yeah, I think so. And then he comes in, he's immediately just shitting on Peter's place. Like, all right. He's like, wow, this is Airbnb.
Sorts their books by colors.
So devoid of life. Who sorts their books by colors? Like, God damn this guy. You know what? Theo Martin, if that's your real name.
Yep. Then they're doing Mark Twain quotes at each other about how too much champagne is just right. And they're smitten with each other, seemingly.
And then, champagne time and some more music and
cut back to Peter. Yeah. Who is trying to help Jack with homework, but not really.
Who's in the Spanish-American War? The Spanish and the Americans. It's like, okay, let's go.
Yeah.
And then Peter kind of
Zen out the window, right?
Yeah.
Like, can't focus.
Yeah, he's kind of seething over the Zen Den situation here. And then we're cutting back to New York. Theo and Debbie start making out. They want to close the curtains. They bust out the iPad. She doesn't know how to work that thing.
Digital.
Starts messing with the apps, right? She actually kicks on the music again. That's loud. They get that off. And then she accidentally hits the camera app, which this is all coming from the trailer, a little more extended. So we cut back to LA.
Yeah, there's another montage, basically.
Yeah, pretty much. Peter's like watching Zen do an exercise outside, and then he gets a notification about the camera being activated. He turns it on. He sees them in their stripped down undies, and he tosses a phone, breaks his thing, and
from the trailer,
it's off. Chat comes out like, "What are you doing, man? Use your words." And then it cuts to Tig because Peter called her.
I got something to do. I got to go out. And you're like,
"Is that cologne?" It's like, "I ate a candle." Okay, alrighty.
Yeah. And that's it. He goes out in his fancy Porsche.
Yeah. He goes to the bar and he's like, "Hey, I'd love a Macallan double." And then,
asshole.
This is like, I'd be fucking pissed as
a bartender.
As a bartender, if you came up to me and was just like, "Hey, can I get a Macallan 12? You know what? Make it a double or make it a double." And you start to go do that thing, and then 2 seconds later, he's like, "You know what? But I don't drink, so a Pellegrino it is." I've been like, dude,
I'd love a Macallan double, please.
Fucking waste my time right now. Like, know what you want.
He's already started pouring.
Yeah. Like the guy actually pulled the bottle and started pouring. I was like, so you don't want this? Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah.
You want a goddamn Pellegrino?
A woman approaches.
Some fancy lady. She comes in. That's right. She comes in and she's she's like, he's looking to get some West Coast flirting. Yeah, some West Coast action here. Because
she's like, I couldn't believe it when my phone rang. And he's like, yeah, like I couldn't believe that you changed your number. Like you didn't change your number for 20 years. And she's like, well, I didn't change it for this exact reason, hoping you'd call. Like, this is stupid. I hate this.
And then we cut back to the New York apartment. And we got Debbie.
Post sexy time.
She's a little stirry crazy here. She checks her phone, texts Peter. Nothing. Back at the LA bar. Fancy lady wants to take Peter home. But we cut to the LA house. And
no kids, no husband. Let's do this.
Let's roll. And then we cut to the LA home, and he's going on about how he denied taking the lady home to Tig.
Yep. To Tig.
Alicia. Yeah.
And she's like, well, at least you smell terrific. So you have that.
Yes. And then he goes on about stuff. I kind of stopped listening for a bit here, but he's more explicit about how he drank and stopped writing and how he's a noble piece of shit. And
yeah, it's from the trailer too, where like that first time we slept together, like I couldn't stop thinking about her. And like, she's like, well, why didn't you do anything then? And he's like, well, that's when I saw her and Jimmy at the theater. And then, then she picked me up at rehab for the second time. And I was on a big truth kick and I was going to tell her how I felt. But at that point they were married, so I didn't want to. And then she told me that she was pregnant. And then like, that's why I had to leave. And he's like, she's like, oh, the earthquakes. Got it. Because that's the joke too.
Right.
He moved out of California because of the earthquakes.
It's his ability to commit and
yeah.
Yeah.
But he's got to stop telling himself that story that he's a piece of shit, because maybe he's not a piece of shit.
Yeah.
And she's like, I'm sorry, I've had 10 coffees. I'm out of my mind.
Let me just cut to Zen playing the guitar. Peter checks on Jack sleeping, and then we're back in New York.
Debbie wakes up alarmed because she is late for her final exam.
Whoa. And then tells Theo to like show himself out. You know how to find the door.
Yeah. And he doesn't know that she's in school because he thinks she's an editor. And he's like, you're what now?
She's like, oh, yeah, I got to edit this stuff or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah. A final draft of the book that I'm editing.
I know we're in class. She takes the exam, and that's done. And then we're back in LA, and we got Jack and Peter kind of like they're in cruise control. They got their system down, right?
Another almost a montage, basically. The way they do these quick cuts, right?
Yeah. The rest of this movie is very like this. So they're
making breakfast, doing lunch.
They're doing good stuff there. Yeah, having a good time. We go back to New York. The exam's done. She calls Peter to thank him, I think leaving a message. And like then she has like a mini decorating montage. There's like a montage within a montage here where she like walks around New York and finds like plants and blankets and pillows, and basically it's just, she goes to his house and kind of, livens his place up a little bit, gives it a little more depth and less IKEA looking.
Yep.
And then Theo calls her. He's like, yo, I got a proposal for you. Let's meet up at the fancy bar.
You free for a drink? Yeah.
Let's go.
So then we cut back to Minka, and she's like, a proposal? Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And Debbie's stressed that she hasn't heard from Peter. And like, I don't know what's going on with him.
Then this is when she finds an envelope, a big manila envelope that's underneath like his night table.
Yeah.
Which is a weird spot to keep your
on her way down to, because she drops her jacket on the floor, and that's why she bends over to pick it up. Goes by her suitcase, which Minka makes another joke about. They have ones that the tires spin. But Debbie finds this envelope of treasures and mementos. Specifically things he said he does not keep.
Yeah.
But he does. And get a gem line from Debbie here, as my drunk mother always used to say, mind your own business.
That's a gem line. I'll give that one.
Yeah.
And we're back out to LA. Right?
With Peter and Jack, and Jack, poor Jack is like, so what happens next with me, you, and Mom?
He's laying on thick, like real thick here.
He's like, what if you don't go back to New York? Like, we'll make a good team, the three of us, at home in LA, at my house.
It's like such like a forced, like, this is the moment. So this is Peter's moment of getting like, oh, this is how you should change, and like your thing should be. And then we go back to New York. Minka will do the same thing for Debbie.
Yeah. Well, and specifically, he's like, Jack's like, I don't know how you decide this stuff as adults. He's like, yeah, I don't know how we decide this stuff either. And he's like, you look like you just felt an earthquake or something, like a reason to run away again, perhaps. Right?
Oh my God.
So then, we cut back to Debbie, and she's like, Peter hates mementos. I don't know why he's keeping any of this stuff, but it's all creepy pictures of me. Yeah. And shit that I sent him.
B-Day gif. And she tipped the poker chip. That was the key thing, right? Because he doesn't keep that. Yeah. So he's got one. And then basically on the other coast, we have Minka basically doing the same thing that Jack did for Peter. She's doing it for making the main character realize what they want and need.
You're in love with Peter. You gotta take a chance.
Take a chance. She's like, I don't take chances. I'm just I'm a boring person. And then we go cut to her. It's all from the trailer. Cut to her in a cab ride, and she's like flipping through photos of her and Peter and thinking about Peter.
Did have a nice, you get what you get and you don't get upset, which I appreciate.
Yes.
Calling out for me.
Yeah. I figured, I was like, oh, that's his favorite line right there. Yeah. Do you say that? And we're in hockey, and this is, I was like, Jack's playing and he'll probably get hurt. And then we cut back to the fancy restaurant, Debbie meeting Theo, and he's just like, he just wants to see what could be going on here. Right.
Yeah. I was going to wait till after the appetizers were over, but I'm just going to get into it.
Get right into it. Cut back to LA, and Jack
you can
scores.
tell the kid's gonna get rocked.
Oh yeah, he's totally gonna get rocked. And he's got the red helmet, so you know who he is. And we cut back to the restaurant, and then Theo drops the, hey, I got an interview with like some editor group, right? Yeah.
At not Duncan Press, because I don't want us to work together in case we're gonna bang more.
Yes.
And which maybe if we do that, not to get totally ahead of myself.
Yeah. He drops the old "how about us" thing, It's now we're back to LA, and Jack end to end. all 200 feet. Yeah, just taking the puck all the way down, right? Mm-hmm. And we cut back to the restaurant. Debbie's like rambling on and tells Theo basically she might be in love with someone else.
Yep. She lets him down gently, kind of. She's like, "You're wonderful. Believing in me means the world to me. I get it. Yep. However, I found this envelope. It's a whole thing."
Yep.
And he's like, "What?"
And we're back in LA playing hockey. Jack draws a nice tripping penalty, probably, but slides on the ice right into the boards.
Right in the boards.
Yeah, that's not what you're looking for.
Which it looks pretty slow. Like the way they film this, it's like he like slides like bonk. Like just like bonks his head in the boards. You're like, that's probably not a concussion, but
it still hurts.
Yeah, he stays down.
He's not getting up. Just skate it off, kid. You'll be fine.
Yeah.
We're back at the fancy restaurant. This is all building up here. And Debbie gets a call from Peter and she's like, "What do you mean hockey tryouts?" And then she starts freaking out. And she's like, "We cut to LA, right?" And
it's like the ambulance got there so quick and he's with the doctor now. Everything's going great. Don't worry.
And the doc comes online. She's like, "Yeah, he's got a headache, some nausea. We'll keep an eye on next concussion stuff, no hematoma
Could be
though.
A hematoma. Yeah.
But so she's freaking out, and she's like, "Give the phone to Jack," and Jack lets it all loose here. He's like, "Mom, this has been the best. This is the best week of my life, and you need to lighten up."
I almost drank coffee.
Yeah, you need to lighten up, Mom.
Yep.
And then
Debbie I got to be a different kind of me for a change, which it's what the boy needs.
Yeah, he needs to be himself. Debbie freaks. She's like, I need to head home. And she just tells Peter, like, "Get out of here. I don't want you around here anymore. Get out of here. I don't want to see you."
Yep.
And she leaves.
Yep.
Peter keeps trying to call her. She's not answering. Then we're in New York when Minka got her a new bag with spinny wheels and packed her all up and said, "Hey, you'll probably need this." So
they do a bunch of like back and forth of like Peter calls like 8 times and she ignores it every time.
Yeah.
It's a whole thing.
Yeah.
And then we got to the airport.
Here we are. We made it. The airport scene.
And so she's on the phone with him and she's on her way home and he's on his way home and they pass each other on like the those like moving sidewalk kind of things, which I like. And he apologizes but also kind of yells at her and she's like, "You should have told me stuff." And Minka told me about the book. Like, I'm pissed about that. And Theo, which I'm pissed about also.
Yep.
And she's like, "I'm a person, Peter. I'm not a rock. Of course I'm going to bang Theo." And she yells at him about Jack and like their whole life. It's a whole thing. There's a lot of yelling between the two of us.
While they're on the floor escalators. There's a floor escalator things. Yeah.
Yep. And she basically leaves it. "You always said you were a piece of shit. Maybe you're right.
Guess what? You are a piece of shit." I was like, whew.
Yep.
Love that.
And he says that was mean.
That was actually mean. It's like, well, duck's a duck, right?
She trips and drops a bag and the poker chip comes out.
There it is. The payoff. The $1.45 payoff.
Reminds her of what she came here to do in the first place, which was connect with Peter.
Yep.
But he's already gone. But he's not gone.
No, he's just at the end of the floor escalator, the other end.
Yep. So he comes back and they have a whole thing again where, "What the hell's wrong with you? Why didn't you tell me? Why did you let so much time go by? Like, we could have loved each other this whole time. I'm scared I'm not good enough for you. You know how I feel. What, you're in love with me or something?" And he's like, no, I'm not in love with you. I'm deeply, madly over my fucking, who cares? I'm in love with you.
Overwhelming.
And then she's like, "Well, I thought we were going to be friends forever." And he's like, "We're not going to be friends anymore, Debbie." And they make out at the airport.
Yep.
I hate it.
And then they're walking out and they're holding hands and
they have a title card that says like 15 minutes later. Why? Don't do that.
Yeah. Don't do that.
God damn it.
Then they go on about how they're holding hands. Now we're going to be hand holders and it feels kind of good. And then
Peter's like, "Jackson be psyched about this. Like, he really wanted us to get together as a threesome."
Jesus. And then their Uber's here because the movie's brought to you by Uber. And she's like, "So what happens next?"
Yep. Cut to
I'll tell you.
Another title card thing.
Yep. Very long one. So title card, 6 months later. Yeah. After one published book, Peter, and one move-in day, schlepping up and down a billion stairs, also Peter. One job as an editor at an indie publisher, Debbie, and many, many hockey practices, Jack.
Like, I know who did all those things. You don't have to put it in the.
Yeah.
Stop it. Stop
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. Don't need to do that. Don't need to do that.
And it's like another little montage of like them doing family stuff together in the house, and
they're all in LA,
garden,
and the camera's pulling out, and LA. They're just having, yep. And then literally, the title card comes up and says they lived happily ever after. Just kidding. Marriage is hard, but they had a good life. And I was like, so they're dead now?
Yeah. Yeah. I was like, oh, this took place in now. I thought this was like a contemporary, like,
but they had a good life.
Yep. It's actually coming from like 2027.
They're all dead.
Yeah.
Oh, the end. That's it.
That's how it ends. I hate it.
Man, I've seen a lot of bad endings. I mean, the Lazarus Effect ending was really bad. At least this buttoned everything up nicely and everyone's happy. You know, it's whatever. It's a happy ending. But
I think I like the Lazarus Effect ending better. Honestly,
gets you thinking like what could be happening in this universe. What's happening there?
At least it was like, oh, maybe there'll be a sequel or something. I don't know.
Yeah,
it like just went off the rails, and like this one stayed on the rails too much.
Yeah, it was too within the lines. We can Jared and Russ ameliorate right now. This movie is an hour and 51 minutes. No. Lazarus Effect was an hour and 32 or 28.
It was like 28. Yeah. Nice and short.
It's a rom-com. We've said this before. Rom-coms, hour 45 max, and that's including credits. So you need to tighten this up. An hour and 51 minutes is too long. Too many montages, too much stuff, too much re-explaining the same thing over and over again. It's like, I don't know, maybe it's supposed to be a celery movie, but like, I don't know.
Cut the whole school bit. Like none of that mattered.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Not really.
Just
right?
get rid of it. Yeah.
Find a new place other than an airport. Come on, it's so cliche. God damn it.
Yep. Give Steve Zahn some more lines. I don't know. That would be fun.
Yeah.
Let Tig shine.
Yeah, let Tig shine. I mean, this might be crazy, but I don't think I'd be opposed to seeing like a Tig Notaro, Ashton Kutcher like buddy movie or something.
Ooh, maybe they're cops.
Yeah.
That'd be fun.
That'd be fun and stupid.
Yeah. I would totally watch that.
Maybe they're like, they should have been like undercover cops, like kind of like a kindergarten cop type of thing here, right?
Yep.
Or they're trying to protect the kid from the father who's out climbing. He's actually in prison.
Yep. Yeah. Or he's like a
we're prognosticating now.
Bodie.
Yes. And he just wants his son. And he's Bodie, right? And he just wants his son back. And then we get some extreme, Ashton Kutcher, Tig Notaro on the case. Netflix, give us a call.
We're ameliorating. This is making it better.
This is making it better.
Turned into Point Break.
Meets Kindergarten Cop. Done.
Yep. I would watch that in a second.
Tig Notaro and Ashton Kutcher.
Yeah. Sign me up.
Sold. Oh God! What else is there? How else do you fix this thing? I think that's.
Don't put Reese Witherspoon in it. I don't know.
They didn't really have much. They didn't have much chemistry.
Yeah,
they didn't have much chemistry at all. Ashton Kutcher and Reese Witherspoon.
No, every time they were reading lines together, it felt like they were reading lines like at each other, and I was like, oh, okay,
yeah, no,
bored.
Yeah, and I think I don't know. I feel like you can get a little bit out of the cookie cutter mold of the rom-com, right?
Yes.
And definitely get some more comedy in there. Maybe let Tig Notaro like punch up the script a bit. Like she's a comedian. She's pretty funny. Let her not just like maybe write some jokes you did for herself in this, but like have her like, I don't know.
I was gonna say no way to prove it, but I think those jokes were probably improv.
Yeah.
Like the funny ones.
Yes. Yeah. So it's like, yeah, and take a chance on a rom, take a chance, just like the characters. They need to take a chance. Take a chance on coming up with something different in a rom-com realm. Don't paint by numbers.
Like Stranger Than Fiction. Like that was like a funny kind of creative idea. Like do that. Make it good.
Yeah, make it good.
Just make it good.
Make it good.
Jared and Russ ameliorate. Make it better.
Make it better. Just be better. Don't be sorry. Just be better.
That's right.
Okay. Is that it?
I think so.
We covered all our bases?
Yeah, I think we're right.
Okay. Well, I don't know. I think this is it, right? Let's just move on from this thing. It's neither your place or mine. We're
Star-crossed lovers.
All right. Well, thanks for listening, everybody. Back next week with a new movie. In the meantime, you can follow us on Instagram. It's This Meets That, right? ITMT Pod on Twitter. The best thing you can do for us is share with a friend. Share us with a friend, and subscribe wherever you're listening, whatever platform that is. That's helpful too.
Yeah. Or leave us a review. That's also helpful. Speaking of things that you can do for us, do that. 5 stars, maybe a nice comment, Apple, Spotify, wherever you're allowed to do those things. Or if you want to give us long form feedback, you're feeling old fashioned, send us an email. We do a lot of movies about books. We talk about books. Send us a book. Send us a script.
Yeah.
We love that. We want that. It's thismeetsthat@gmail.com, or go to the website where, speaking of books, you can learn about Russ's book, Host. You can listen to all the old episodes of ITMT, which at this point, uncountable hours.
Yeah. I mean,
I haven't counted. Have you?
No, I have not. That's too much counting. You get the abacus. You get the wall abacus. So
I lost count at 3 orbs.
Because it only stops in the thousands. I think you can't count any higher than that.
Yeah.
Right?
Orbicus.
Orbicus.
Yeah. But anyway, the website's cool. Check it out. It's thismeetsthat.com.